The Pentagon has finally started releasing UFO files, including transcripts, videos, images, and even one depicting what's believed to be an alien being. Let's start with a flying object. This does look super convincing at first glance.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Laid Back with another reaction, another review, another episode. Hey, TikTok, you up to bat. Wow. It's your boy Laid Back. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, two things we got to do. You got to hit that subscribe button. I'm drinking this water. You already know what it is, man. Think rich in 2026. Think rich in 2026. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Stay up to date with all the videos. Don't forget to hit the like button, squad. Don't forget, man. Definitely tap into the like button. Also, tap into my TikTok. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's lit. Live trash or pass, panel conversations. Great vibes over there. Make sure you follow and tap in. But we back with another one, man. We talking about these UAPs and this new stuff that's going on. So this is gonna be very interesting with extraterrestrials. You make it to the end of this one, you a real one for real. I'm just gonna say that. You make it to the end of this one, you a real one for real. Let's go ahead and get it, squad. Fire squad. What's popping? Let's get it.
For decades, we were told we were looking at weather balloons, swamp gas, and optical illusions. Today, the United States government admitted that they were lying. The Pentagon has just declassified the biggest cache of unidentified aerial phenomena files in human history, fundamentally changing our understanding of our place in the universe. We're no longer dealing with rumors, whistleblowers, or blurry black and white grain infrared videos. We are looking at cold, hard, undeniable data. Let's break down what was actually released. The unsealed documents and high-definition videos confirmed what we have long suspected. We are not alone, and these crafts are operating in our airspace with total impunity. Looking at the first unredacted video file, we see clear daylight footage captured by a naval aviator off of the coast. Unlike the infamous Tic Tac videos of the past, this craft is caught in stunning resolution. You can clearly see a metallic, seamless sphere demonstrating flight characteristics that completely defy our current understanding of physics. There is no visible exhaust or propulsion system, yet it accelerates from a hover to hypersonic speeds instantaneously, executing right-angle turns that would instantly kill any human pilot due to the sheer G-force. But the videos are only a fraction of the story. The released telemetry data is even more staggering. The accompanying radar track shows these objects descending from low Earth orbit, plunging into the ocean without splashing, and traveling underwater at hundreds of knots before effortlessly returning to the sky. The military admits in these documents that the United States simply does not own that kind of technology, and they have definitively ruled out our foreign opposition. Perhaps the most alarming revelation is tucked away in the annex of the unclassified report. It details physical material recovery. For the first time, an official government document acknowledges the possession of exotic metamaterials engineered at the isotopic level, definitively labeled as originating from a non-human intelligence. They are finally admitting that the crash retrieval programs are and were real, and they have the debris to prove it. This is not just a news story. This is a complete paradigm shift for human history. The implications for our science, our defense, and our philosophy are incomprehensible. The veil of secrecy has finally been pierced. But this is just the beginning. We cannot let this unprecedented disclosure get swept away under the chaotic 24-hour news cycle. The government has held these secrets for nearly a century, and we deserve the complete, unvarnished truth about who is operating these crafts and what their intentions are. Don't let this momentous day pass without action. Share this breakdown with everybody you know. Demand absolute transparency in full congressional hearings to force the rest of these black budget programs out into the light. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. The truth is no longer out there. It's right here, and we're not going to look away. Stay safe until the next time.
Well, these are some of the most interesting findings that I've discovered in the newly released UAP files as of yet. I want to start out with this one, which describes Milwaukee police recovering a metallic object with an apparent internal heat source. Now, the files that I've read yet, this has to be the most interesting one. As you can see, at 12:07 a.m., right, 8/22/1974, Security Patrol Clerk Charles F. Halty, Intelligence Division, received a call via command center telephone from a Major Horn MNCC military command center. Major Horn asked for any information the FBI might have concerning concerning a report that an unidentified object which fell from the sky at Milwaukee, Wisconsin, had been recovered by local police and turned over to the Milwaukee office of the FBI. Duty supervisor Harry E. Morris Jr. called SBC Robert Collar Milwaukee office, who advised an unidentified object had been recovered by Milwaukee police at about 5:55 p.m. 8/21/1974. That it was still in possession of police. He said a Captain Willis of the Milwaukee Police Department had called the Milwaukee FBI office to report the recovery. Very little was known about the object, which was described as about 13 by 8 by 5 inches, metallic in substance and color, jagged on one side, and had an internal heat source. This one still has me baffled because I have yet to see a report like this. During the late evening hours of September 26, 1950, two Philadelphia police officers observed a peculiar phenomenon on Bear Boulevard near 26th Street when they saw a round object about 6 feet in circumference slowly float down to the ground. The object had the appearance of a parachute and landed in a field. It being so light, it did not even depress the weeds in the field. The object was lavender in color, described by the officers as dewy, sort of like soap suds, and evaporating within 15 or 20 minutes after it landed. When touched by the officers, the substance composing the object disappeared, leaving nothing but a slight sticky substance. This matter was reported to the office by the Philadelphia police, and for that matter was subsequently carried in the Philadelphia press as flying saucer just dissolved. This one seems a little too specific, I'm just saying. Investigator for the Air Force stated that 3 so-called flying saucers have been recovered in New Mexico. They were described as being circular in shape with raised centers approximately 50 feet in diameter. Each one was occupied by 3 bodies of human shape but only 3 feet tall, dressed in metallic cloth of a very fine texture. Each body was bandaged in a manner similar to the blackout suits used by speed flyers and test pilots. What this informant said on this one is actually very interesting. She received is true and will furnish full details. This will include information regarding the destruction of a Moon Explorer vehicle by beings from outer space and how those beings shot down the Russian cosmonaut. She stated she fears for her life if it becomes known she contacted officials, as persons who saw UFOs have died mysteriously in the past, which leads me to the next file. It says there currently are rumors over the grapevine and in print that suggest men with oriental features wearing dark clothes go around terrorizing people who have had close-up views of UFOs. It's also rumored these creatures have impersonated armed forces officers and FBI investigators. They're supposed to ride around in black or dark automobiles that either have old license tags or none at all. I mean, people, they came out with the Men in Black series. Like, let's be so fucking for real right now.
Do your own research. What?
The U.S. government just opened the vault on UFOs. 162 files dropped today on war.gov/UFO. Photos, videos, FBI reports, NASA materials going back 80 years. And the people who've been fighting hardest to get this released are saying something most Americans haven't heard yet. The real threat isn't what's flying over our heads, it's who already here on Earth has the technology. Thank God for Anna Luna, Tim Burchett, and a growing list of lawmakers who have spent years inside classified briefings on this subject. Their position is consistent and it's terrifying. They believe advanced technology, possibly recovered from non-human craft, was quietly moved out of government hands and into a small group of private defense contractors decades ago. That's not a Reddit theory, that's testimony delivered to Congress under oath by Air Force veteran David Grush, backed by Luis Elizondo, the former head of the Pentagon's UAP program, and corroborated by multiple intelligence officials who came forward through official channels. Here's what they're saying in plain English. Crash retrieval programs were taken off the books, funded through black budgets nobody can audit, hidden inside private companies because private companies don't have to answer to public FOIA requests. Don't have to brief Congress, and don't have to tell the president. The same people who've been sitting on this technology for 80 years now see Congress, the public, and even parts of the U.S. military as a threat to their monopoly. Because if the technology is real, anti-gravity, exotic propulsion, energy systems that don't require fuel, AI, disclosure would end their control over the most valuable inheritance in human history. That's why Anna Luna and everybody else should be screaming about this from the rooftops. Her position is simple. The American people deserve to know what we have, who has it, and whether it could be used to solve the problems crushing regular families right now. Tim Burchett has said the same thing on Joe Rogan and in committee hearings. The fight isn't about little green men, it's about accountability over technology that could change every life on this planet. Expect chaos, expect those who currently control this technology to resist sharing it, and that is precisely why this may be the single most important action that can take place in the entire world. We must move with with all urgency to achieve disclosure and transfer this technology into the hands of people we can hold accountable, leaders we can vote in and out of power. That is the primary concern. My name is Will Robinson, and thank you for getting informed.
The long-anticipated declassified UAP extraterrestrial files have officially been released, and it may not be what you were hoping for just yet. The Trump administration just released the first batch of declassified UAP files. 162 documents, photos, and videos from the FBI, the Pentagon, NASA, and the State Department are now publicly available at war.gov/UFO. The Pentagon confirmed no redactions were made to any information about the nature of existence or any UAP encounter. The site has already crashed from traffic, and Trump posted on Truth Social today telling the American people to decide for themselves what the hell is going on. I'm still going through it, but the early material is not jaw-dropping. Small objects, distant shots, infrared signatures, some repeated content that's been out before. Where are the Phoenix Lights reports, the Area 51 files, the big events that happened like Roswell that we've all been waiting decades to see documented? Nothing like that yet, but I want to be careful because this is the first batch. Pentagon has committed to rolling releases every few weeks.
Really?
Is it going to move the needle? Ask me again in a few weeks when more comes out. But in my opinion, transparency has begun today. Is it going to be worth the squeeze? I'll let you know. Make sure to subscribe to Mostly True Alien Stories on YouTube. Until then, is this a mostly true alien story or not?
We need to save ourselves.
Man.
The government just released photos and videos of aliens. Let's talk about it. So today is Disclosure Day. If you guys don't know what that is, the government just released a bunch of never released photos and videos of UAPs, UFOs, all those three-letter anomalies to the public. Let's see what interesting stuff they put out. So I'm going to give you some of the highlights here, but you can actually access all of these online. So among the released material are Apollo mission reports describing strange lights and objects seen during lunar missions. Now, these don't exactly look like aliens, but one of the astronauts actually described this as fireworks in deep space. Now, this stuff isn't only seen in space. Some of the military pilots actually described metallic objects moving in ways no known aircraft can, and you can actually watch some of those videos here. I know
crazy.
Rogan talks about this all the time. Now, this goes against everything that alien movies basically preach, and the government is actually admitting it is releasing raw files without knowing what they mean. That means they've tried to analyze them, but they have no idea what it is. And honestly, that seems like growth for the government.
Yeah.
So, bravo. Now, this one does not seem real at all, but it apparently is, okay? They said this is unedited raw footage of this thing materializing and then just leaving at high speeds. So I don't know what to do with that information. So there you guys go. Just some of the highlights from Disclosure Day today. 162 previously classified UFO documents. You can go online, check them all out. Now, I still don't believe in any sort of aliens or anything like that, but these anomalies are very, very interesting. So I'd like to hear in the comments below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.
The first batch of declassified UFO files have just been released today, so let's break down everything that is in them so far. Now, the release includes 162 files from the FBI, Department of Defense, NASA, and the State Department, and they contain eyewitness testimonials, photos, reports, and unexplained sightings. Now, within the reports, there's 122 PDFs, 28 videos, and 14 images. And some of the contents include eyewitness accounts from federal employees who observed orbs in the sky on 2 separate days in western US, images captured from Apollo 17 and Apollo 12 from moon missions, a football-shaped UAP photographed near Japan by the US Indo-Pacific Command. We even had Neil Armstrong documenting an unidentified object near the moon, and that report just became public within the files as well. Now, according to reports, new material will be released every few weeks as they become declassified. And from what I saw, there is no confirmed evidence of extraterrestrial contact from the first release, which is consistent with the 2024 Pentagon report in which they said they found no evidence that any government UAP investigation had confirmed the existence of extraterrestrial life. So let me know in the comments, do you think aliens still exist, or is the government still hiding this from us? And if you want to check out the files yourself, just go to war.gov/UFO. There's literally no security clearance needed, or I'll list it below in the comments. Have fun.
President Trump just released the alien files. And if what's in those pictures are real, then we might have a bigger problem than we think. I don't think that people understand how crazy this situation is, because it's not just a conspiracy anymore. These are official government files being released to the public. The government opened up a brand new UFO disclosure portal, and they dropped over 160 files from the Pentagon, the FBI, NASA, intelligence agencies, and military departments.
Crazy.
You have videos, images, astronaut reports. Look at this shit right here. You have orb sightings, You got military encounters, and these are cases investigators still can't explain. You got one report describing an object making impossible 90-degree turns in the air. Another report describing orange glowing orbs releasing smaller red orbs over military zones.
Whoa.
Mind you, they got reports connected to Apollo missions, Gemini missions. You got metallic football-shaped objects appearing next to military operations. Mind you, they're claiming that many of these cases remain unsolved, meaning they can't fully explain what people saw. Mind you, they're saying that this is only the beginning, that they're gonna continuously release these files. But I need you to go back and remember this, because they have to be getting us ready for something. This was the year of disclosure. We already knew this. So what's coming after this? Because if what they're saying about 2027 is true, this is just a small part of the introduction to everything. Pay attention.
Are we trying to prepare the American people with a slow drip, drip, drip tease of this stuff? If not, then Congressman, I would say, if this is all we've got,
Right.
then I'm not sure that there's anything that the American government really has that tells us anything about the existence of aliens. I'm just beginning to feel like this entire story is teased out always just beyond our reach.
I can sense your frustration. I've experienced it personally myself. I've seen videos that I think are in the process of being declassified, so I think that there is more to come. If they're not going to be disclassified, I'll probably do an effort to release them myself under speech and debate. But again, a lot of the footage that I've seen is similar to what has been released today. There's some that are pretty interesting, and especially given the environment and the circumstances of the videos, whether they are videos of UAPs that are flying around Russian submarines, or a video of our aircraft that are firing on some of these UAPs. I've seen those kind of videos, and so I'm teasing that because I know that I'm telling the administration through you at this moment that if they don't release those, then I have the capabilities of getting those videos and releasing.
Okay, breaking news. The U.S. Department of War have released the UFO files everybody was waiting for. Now, don't get too excited because you're not going to see a high-definition UAP image or a high-definition 4K video of a UFO. I think there is some really good data on these files, and we're going to check them out from the bedroom.
Hey. You want to see a real UFO?
From the bedroom is crazy.
So as soon as you get to the website, you're going to see a lot of these files for you to download from the FBI, from the Pentagon, and from NASA. I was really surprised to see some things in here from NASA, which we're going to talk about this in a little bit. But a lot of these files are just old documents. Some of these documents are new, but, you know, nothing special. It's just witnesses and just, you know, military officials, pilots talking about these, you know, UAPs, these objects, right? Just, you know, pretty much some updates on what these witnesses saw, right, throughout the years. But it is pretty interesting still to have these data, I guess. I wasn't surprised that we were not going to see a high definition UAP, right, craft, or some type of alien body, right? But I guess it works, right? It's more data for the UFO community for you guys to have. But let's talk about NASA, shall we? They released some documents, some transcripts, and images from the Apollo 12, 1969. And apparently, these astronauts, they saw something up there on the moon that it's pretty interesting. So I have the transcript here and we're going to read it together. So it is a long one, but I'm just going to read the part where they are literally describing these things up there. So, and it goes like this. Hey, Bob, I'm looking at what Jack was talking about, and it is definitely not a particle that's nearby because there's another one I can look at and get a three-dimensional comparison with. It is a bit bright object, and it is obviously rotating because it's flashing. It's way out in distance, as I say, because there's particles that are close by, and it is obviously not one of those. It is apparently rotating in a very rhythmic fashion because the flashes come around almost on time. And it is, as we look back at the Earth, it is up about 11 or maybe 10 or 12 Earth diameters. I don't know whether that does you any good, but there is something out there. Wow. Okay, so you got these astronauts describing these objects up there, flashing lights, they're rotating, they're moving around. What? This is insane. This is crazy, right? I always believe that there is something up there on the moon, on the other side. I don't know if you guys believe this or not, but I have a feeling that there is something on the other side. Maybe that's where these entities or aliens are operating from, right? Maybe they do have some things up there on the other side of the moon, like underground bases, maybe some domes or something like that. It is pretty interesting to see this. Now, the other files, the other stuff, it's okay, I guess. It's just a bunch of little tiny dots moving around here on planet Earth. But, you know, nothing major, to be quite honest. But for me, this right here from NASA, it's just mind-blowing, right? You got these astronauts from 1969, Apollo 12, describing these objects flashing, moving around. It's insane. So, but yeah, the files are here for you guys to see. It is pretty interesting. Now, it is not disclosure, right? A lot of people was like, oh, disclosure is coming. The aliens and the UFOs, right? The flying saucers. This is nothing close to disclosure. But it is good to know or to have these data, right, with us, for us to have and, you know, to go over it and read it and so on. So, but let me know in the comment section about the NASA files and the images we just looked at. I think it's pretty amazing.
Oh my God. Okay, so the UFO files just dropped, and there is a video that is unbelievable. It is so unbelievable. It depicts an 8-pointed star, clear as day, super close in, really good video quality, and this was taken back in 2013. Here's the clip.
Wow. That joint just moving like... It's just floating around, just doing whatever it wants. And then it just left.
All right, skeptics, give me your best shot with that one, man. What do you think that was?
That was some alien stuff.
Simply just not going to believe this. This is absolutely wild. So we were on live earlier, right? And war.gov released some crazy, insane information and images and videos, which pretty wild. All right, so let me try to break this down as best as I can. All right, so the Pentagon released files on UAPs, what we know as UFOs. Okay, even though those documents don't confirm alien life, some images and videos are absolutely mind-blowing. And we saw alien craft stretching from FBI witness interviews, military pilots citing scripts. Right, some files go all the way back to 1940, and others are recent as 2025. For instance, Apollo 12. Yes, Apollo 12. Scripts on astronaut describing jagged, angular, fragmented, tumbling in space. Then in 1994, a pilot saw a bullet-like object over Asia. And just last year, a U.S. military citizen told the FBI of encountering a metallic bronze UAP in January 2024. Footage captured a football-shaped craft with a weird set of projections. In late 2025, a senior U.S. intelligence official told the FBI encountered a UAP at a military facility. This is absolutely nuts. What I'm saying doesn't make it justice, man. The images that they have there and some of the videos is pretty wild. If you've been here this far, you are disclosure.
There were 4 lights in total, 1 light on each corner and a larger light in the center, 2 to 3 times the size of the corner lights. but what was really odd was the outside. The best way to describe it is like looking at a James Webb telescope picture where you have the colors and then the black background. So the craft itself was this black metallic flake paint, but on top of the craft was this gold, lava, plasma, some type of fluid going over and around the craft. I'm under this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then
So as these files start to get released, the UFO stuff, I want to remind everybody, one, first of all, let me be this a little bit selfish. I do remember when y'all would call me weirdos for orb hunting on Saturday nights. Like, my posts never landed. Whenever I would talk about this shit, everybody thought it was weird and like made comments about me and my fascination with this shit. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm worried about with this release of, you know, information and videos and pictures is, first of all, everyone's going to say it's AI. The second thing is, like, I'm so not ready for this comment in the comment section. Like, we all know it's coming, and it's gonna be, I get so mad. It's gonna be, this is a distraction. What a distraction. Oh, do I still have to pay rent tomorrow? Okay, well then I don't care. It's a distraction. Like, do you know what it means to have this proof? Do you know that a lot of people like spent so much time like devoting their lives to this shit, to like, it means so much more than like I think people are gonna give it credit for.
Bitch, they actually dropped them, or some of them. Okay, this literally just happened. This is part of the Pursue program, Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters. Okay, they released Apollo 17 photos showing 3 mysterious dots above the lunar surface. It's full of shit, okay? And Tim Burchett went on Joe Rogan and said this is just the first drop. They're gonna have weekly drops after this. But
that's crazy,
keep in mind, this is a .gov website. Okay, you have to go to war.gov/UFO to find anything about it. So I just want you to take it with a grain of salt, use discernment, okay? Don't believe everything that you read, but I'm diving in like a dolphin in the fucking ocean. Also, mind you, the Pentagon has missed a deadline to deliver UAP videos.
What?
Those are still missing. This is a drop from the War Department.
Whoa.
Go to war.gov/UFO and you can find all the documents.
Wow.
You can download them.
UFO successfully lured in and recorded. And of course, we now know NASA lied, because the first batch of UFO files just dropped, including mysterious lights accompanying the Apollo 17 mission on the lunar surface in 1972.
We now know for a fact that NASA acknowledged its own astronauts were reporting anomalous objects, anomalous lights. These lunar anomalies reported to us on multiple programs. It turns out they accept that there is probably a physical object there. There is a there worthy of investigation.
Congressman Eric Burleson recently said he was briefed on an event where officials created what he described as a perfect case scenario to attract UAP.
I was briefed on an event that occurred where they basically tried to set up a perfect case scenario that would cause UAP to come in and try to document them, record them, and it was very successful. This only happened a few months ago. This is when the whole conversation changed, because that event was one that no one could deny. There were so many people that witnessed these things.
Wow.
And these were all credible people working in our top intelligence sector, and they brought me in and briefed me on this almost within a few days or weeks after this event happened.
Then Ross Coulthart claimed that some people in the intelligence community believe this involved psionic summoning, basically the idea that human consciousness, or the mind, can somehow invite the phenomenon to appear.
Yes, the intelligence community has verified psionic summoning, inviting, that this talk of psychical abilities in the human mind to invite the phenomenon are true, are real.
That sounds insane. So are the released UFO videos compelling?
I think that this is a teaser, something to open up with.
That's a UAP, an 8-pointed star.
This was the low-hanging fruit kind of videos and content for this administration to release.
Okay.
No, it's not a whole lot, but it's a start. And hopefully they're right that this is only the first tranche, quote unquote, of many to follow.
Lou, you've seen the videos that haven't yet been released.
Absolutely. And they'll blow your mind.
There's a hell of a lot. You and I both know that there are much, much more impressive videos than the ones that
Absolutely no question about it. And I do believe that some of this is socialization. It's a bit of dipping your toe in the water before you decide to take a high dive and cannonball into the deep end.
So what do you think? Are we no
This
longer
gonna be
passive
crazy.
observers? Share your theories in the comments.
Here are the videos that I found the most interesting to be released by the United States government and the Department of War today in an act of disclosure. Now, this video I'm showing you first because it looks absolutely insane and is indescribable. It's definitely not human technology, but I'm showing you it because of the propulsion trail behind it. And a lot of these videos that were released, you're going to see this same propulsion trail being released from these crafts. Now, that's very important and very important to us as humans because we don't know how these things work and they seemingly have no means of propulsion. There's a propulsion trail coming out of a lot of these crafts. So what is that? I don't know, but we can figure that out. They say that they're interdimensional. Well, there's these red orbs that will appear on their infrared sensors that just appear and disappear like nothing. A lot of these videos are truly indescribable. And at this point, if you are saying that we are alone in the universe and that it's only humans and angels and demons and all this shit, you are out of your mind. Open your eyes, okay? It's in front of your face. Wake up. And the most annoying part to me about all of this is almost everything that's going to come out in continued disclosure is going to be skewed by by all of these people, this mass group of people who want to call this phenomenon demonic. They want to point their finger and call it demons because they're ignorant. They have no understanding. It's ridiculous, okay? The only way you could even assume these things were demons with any sort of merit is if the Earth was flat. The Earth isn't flat, so clearly we have visitors. It makes sense. It's obvious. There's so much planets and galaxies within the universe. It's a statistical fact that they would be around somewhere and coming to visit us very likely.
Y'all think the government releasing it all?
The Pentagon has finally started releasing UFO files, including transcripts, videos, images, and even one depicting what's believed to be an alien being. Let's start with a flying object. This does look super convincing at first glance, but very bright objects often look like this on FLIR footage. There is some kind of trail behind the object though, not entirely sure what to make of it. This though, I would say is slightly more convincing, some kind of glowing orb flying in and around these wind turbines. Again, no concrete evidence of anything here though. Now let's get to something a little more interesting, a flying disc that was reportedly found in Illinois with the text Russia on it. Now, this does not look at all super high-tech or of alien origin to me, but it is no doubt interesting nonetheless. And finally, what you're all here for, an image of a humanoid-looking being. At first, this is shocking, but reality is, this is from an image out of Mexico City in the 1950s that supposedly shows a UFO crew member, so it's nothing new.
Okay.
Excuse me, page 22 of these UFO FBI vault files that were released. Excuse me, we need to talk about that. Are you kidding me? Literally states that they are peaceful. The intentions of these newcomers is a peaceful one. You go on to say in writing, this is a warning. These newcomers should be treated with every kindness. Understand and acknowledge that they also have a weapon on this one particular ship that can disintegrate any plane that attacks it. Mind you, how we got the information out of is a different story. When something clearly communicates to you that it is not a threat and that it's peaceful, and you answer with aggression from then on because you heard the word weapon, I just don't think we should be messing with something like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think we should be like testing those things. I don't think we should be downing them and, you know, grabbing them and, you know, dissecting them. And I just feel like it's just not a good idea because at this point they're kind of just letting you exist out of the kindness of their hearts.
Right. That is a fact. Fact.
Nobody's releasing anything. I mean, anything they release, they might just release, you know, something to shut you up. You know, perhaps a little tidbit. But first of all, I highly doubt that the presidents even have the information. So, you know, no, you're not. There's no such thing as disclosure. That'll never ever happen. Never.
Well, there you go. Is that consensus here, George?
Absolutely agree.
Absolutely, I agree with that as well.
Wow. I think we'll get some crumbs. You know, there's a list of videos that we know where they are, and now Congress knows where they are. They've been demanding them. The president said, yeah, give some stuff over. We might get some of those videos, but there are really sensitive ones that we're not going to see. Yep. And they will fight tooth and nail to keep this stuff from coming out. There's not going to be an announcement by the president of any detail. I don't imagine. You know, people who have talked to him have told him bits and pieces, but he's never had the briefing. Yeah, we've got this stuff. Here's where the bodies are. I don't think he's gone beyond hearing witness statements and pilots and things. And based on his comments, he doesn't seem all that interested in the issue. Luigi, what do you think?
I'm in agreement with you, George. I don't think that this is going to go as far as people would like it to go. I think there's a lot of popular conversations going around right now, and it's been going on for the last couple of years. All these congressional hearings, one which you were one of the witnesses, George.
They said they ain't letting this stuff out like that.
The U.S. government released the first set of UFO files this morning at 8 a.m., and it's been a long day since. I've been up going through everything all day, and I've already posted 2 videos, but the footage I'm about to show you is some of the best in the files. It's of a UAP over the Indo-Pacific Ocean moving along some windmills. Just don't take my word for it. Take a look at this.
That was January 2024. Straight from the government. It's turning around?
So, Michael, tell us what happened after you saw the video and you thought it was, the flying object, and then it got deleted, no longer to be seen?
Yeah, so when we got back to, it was in Subic Bay in the Philippines, and that's when we were on Liberty. So we ended up having the first night, it came back to on ship, and my camera was on my rack. So the memory card and the battery were taken out of that.
Did you see it taken out by someone?
No, I did not. No, I had it secured in my locker, of course. Okay, and another battery that I had for a backup, so I popped that one in. Nothing happened with that camera. So subsequently, after we got back to Camp Hansen, there was a Air Force Lieutenant Colonel that met up with us and some of the guys that were with me and basically made us forcefully sign a non-disclosure agreement and a TSSI document that stated that we couldn't talk about what we saw. We were threatened with treason, with a capital crime, including death or imprisonment. So that's what happened after.
Okay, that's very serious. Dr. Greer, how did you learn about Michael's story and what he experienced?
Well, he approached me some years ago, and of course, when he told me the story, we knew it was a man-made UFO or UAP, probably from the Lockheed Skunk Works. And the big story that no one wants to talk about is that 80% of the sightings of these objects are man-made, and they've been used in human trafficking. What he saw were crates with HVAC systems on it being loaded on to this 300-foot diameter octagonal UFO, but it was not alien, it was ours.
Okay.
And so the ones that are man-made are the dominant phenomenon being seen. There are extraterrestrial ones, or NHI, non-human intelligence, but that's probably a minority now. And this is the big story, is that the technologies behind those systems have been developed by some are called deep state, but illegal and unconstitutional programs. So tomorrow we're doing a National Press Club event at 3 p.m. where we're going to have multiple whistleblowers like Mr. Herrera to sort of unpack that and expose what's really going on. And of course, the president has ordered a release of many files. But the question is, has he gotten enough information about this? My archive has some 20 terabytes of data. I have 760 whistleblowers like Mr. Herrera.
So, Mr. Herrera, Michael, last year you issued a warning to other whistleblowers. You briefed the Senate Intelligence Committee. You've also briefed the Pentagon. Do you still have warnings for other whistleblowers who may come forward, or have you seen more cooperation now that the president has said we want more transparency around UAPs and other things that have been not explained that people are clearly seeing and recording on their own devices?
Well, that's an excellent question, Katie. I'm still always cautious to let people to understand that there is a big risk when coming forward to an extent. Now, when we have legislation that was passed through the National Defense Authorization Act that allows certain precautions to be taken for people's careers, but when it comes to personal safety, it's a lot different. So working towards people's personal safety is the biggest concern as long as they're protected. A lot of these people also have families. They have a career that rewards them and pays them enough to take care of their families. So when they give up that line of work, they no longer have that stability. So they're coming into the public world, if you want to call it that, with no stability. So again, they're losing their career, they're losing their clearances, they're losing everything, and including their pensions and their benefits.
And also, they're often threatened with what are called wet works or targeted killings. So
Who is threatening them? Who is doing the threatening?
we know who they are. I don't want to name names right now.
Are they from the government? Or are they
They're
private?
mostly private corporate contractors that have been ordered to snuff out people. And this is absolutely true. Now, law enforcement has been given this information over the last 3 or 4 years by us, and we're hoping that Kash Patel and the Department of Justice will run that to ground, because they're doing extrajudicial killings, but the entire programs are being run off budget and treasonous. So remember, I briefed the first CI director for Bill Clinton, and they knew nothing about this, even though we had the evidence for it.
So, Michael, are you concerned about your safety?
I've got things in position just in case things do happen. I am working actively with federal law enforcement. In certain instances, I'm not going to go into, but again, people's safety and people's security is very important. So if the government's going to take serious of this nature, at least what we're dealing with reprisals, if they're able to tackle that problem significantly, you're going to start seeing a lot of people want to come forward with information that is going to be correct, and it's going to pave a way for the government to actually have knowledge into certain programs that have existed illegally and unconstitutionally.
This stuff is spicy.
I have literally believed in aliens, UFOs, UAPs, whatever the fuck you want to call them. They'll always be UFOs to me. But I've believed in that shit my whole entire life. I remember when I was younger seeing like the tabloids at the grocery store and just being like, oh my gosh. And my mom would be like, that's fake. Those are fake magazines and whatever. And I just think that it's crazy now that these files are declassified and seeing how far back there were news articles and reports of UFOs and how seriously the government actually took it, and just all of the things that I've watched over the years, and how if pilots came out saying that they saw something in the sky, that they would be made to seem like they were crazy. And I just think it's so wild that the whole entire time we were just being gaslit, and it was actually true, and they were taking it seriously, and they just didn't want the public to know. I mean, that's like a lot of other things. So I guess it's really not surprising. And we've already known that they were doing that. But still, it's just like, we are not children. Like, we are all human beings. We should all be privy to this information. It's just unfair. So is anybody else reading? Like, what is the most interesting thing that you have read in the declassified files, if you have been looking at them so far?
That big new release of UFO documents tonight, President Trump telling the public to have fun deciding for itself what's going on. Among the sightings, an object over Kazakhstan doing corkscrews, something else over the Aegean Sea making 90-degree turns, and NASA's Buzz Aldrin in an Apollo 11 debrief reporting a sizable mystery object close to the moon. Here's CBS correspondent Carter Evans.
These images have been hidden from the public for years, until today when the Pentagon declassified dozens of videos showing unidentified objects tracked by the U.S. military. This one from 2013 looks like a giant 8-pointed star, seemingly floating in the air with no explanation.
Do you see any smoking gun there?
I don't see a smoking gun.
Stanford professor Gary Nolan has previously helped the U.S. government analyze UFO evidence.
How should people look at this information?
I think with first a skeptical eye, what could explain it? I mean, it's not a balloon. It's not a seagull. Maybe it's a lens flare. Then what's left on the table, as spectacular as it might be, becomes a higher probability.
There's even newly released evidence of sightings from space during NASA's Apollo missions, and audio transmissions from Gemini 7 in 1965 with a description from astronaut Jim Lovell.
Body of the sun against a black background, and with billions of particles around it. Ahead of us, 2 o'clock, slowly doubling.
The cache of more than 160 files follows President Trump's earlier directive for transparency, after decades of apparent sightings have fueled a wide range of conspiracy theories, from government cover-ups to aliens.
Do you believe alien life exists and has visited our planet?
I believe that the evidence suggests that there's something more to be looked at and shouldn't be ignored.
In this
Can't even
era
answer
of
it.
transparency, as the Trump administration says, do you think we are going to see more conclusive evidence?
Whether it's more conclusive, I don't know, but we're going to see more evidence. We have not seen everything that is there. I can say that with certainty.
Today, the administration confirmed that this is just the beginning and that new material will be released every few weeks as it's declassified. Tony.
All right, Carter, thank you very much.
There's the release of these UFO files, right, from the Pentagon. They're releasing what they are saying, the Pentagon, that is, these kind of quote unquote never before seen files on unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UFOs. I know that NBC is still combing through all of these files. Is there anything there, or is this a distraction to what is going on overseas?
So it actually may be a little bit in between the two. Definitely. I mean, look, the president said he wanted these things released, so they're following that order, putting them out. It is a huge amount of documents. I was shocked when we started going through them. So like there's 17 pages of lists of documents, and then within some of those lists, there's 150, 200 plus pages of documents. Yeah, so it's a huge volume of information. I will say the ones that I started going through, I didn't say, oh, wow, here's the proof. It's out. It's really, here's the proof that
They're
we needed.
purple or they green?
Yeah.
Are they green or are they purple?
Nobody
do they have
knows.
antennas or do they not? Or do they look like us? Are they us?
It's still unclear. We're still going through to find out exactly what these aliens look like. But I will say it's still interesting to read and to comb through, you know, like, so for instance, like one of the files was a series of letters from someone who was talking about saucers, that were flying, and they had hand drawn pictures, and it sounded, you know, from the way that the letter, it sounded like an older person who lives in the Southwest, and this is what she saw, and what's remarkable to me anyway is that these things were highly classified, and in these like FBI files or intelligence agency files, when they were in some cases handwritten letters and pictures. But then there are other things in there also that appear to be official reports, including some from people at NASA. So I don't want to say that there's nothing in there because we just don't know yet. But candidly, it's a fascinating read.
So this just happened. The Pentagon has released the UFO files. This video in particular is part of the files. No, not these files. Eyes back on that video, the UFO files. And of course, we're all wondering what the heck it is, if it's writing something in the sky. And if you're wondering if it's confirmed or if it's in a UFO or what exactly it is, this is what they have to tell us. The government is telling us the materials archived here are unresolved cases, meaning the government is unable to make a definitive determination on the nature of the observed phenomena. Kind of reminds me of the unresolved nature of these files too. This can occur for a variety of reasons, including a lack of sufficient data, and the Department of War welcomes the application of private sector analysis, information, and expertise. And that sentence reminds me of how they released these files and then just left it up to us to go through them. Department of War will continue to conduct separate reporting on resolved UAP cases as mandated by statute. But how about mandated reporting on these files? Oh, that's right. There's nothing in the files to investigate. Under this administration, we will pursue the truth and share our findings with the American people. Which makes me think, what would all the missing scientists be saying about these files? And what about those other files? What do you what is that?
Let's watch this video of UFOs from the Pentagon's file dump today. There's a UFO already in the center, and then a second one comes into the frame, then the first one leaves, and then the second one comes and hangs out for a while. And this video was taken by an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform. And it kind of looks like the UFOs interacted, right? It was like the first one left, like, bye, okay, I'm off duty. And then the second one came and took its place to observe whatever. But what's funny is the first one that left, it looks like a cartoon UFO. It looks like the Great Gazoo's ship in the Flintstones. Gen X, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the flying saucer with the glass dome on it. So I thought that was kind of odd. But what I think is even more odd is that we have this file dump now, and there's also 15 or so missing or deceased UFO researchers and scientists. And in a few weeks, Steven Spielberg is releasing his movie, Disclosure Day.
Whoa.
Do you think this is all a coincidence? Or do you think maybe there's another plan and we're being prepared for something? I don't know.
Wow.
I want to know what you think. Leave me a comment.
The government released the UFO files. Let's go through them. So, you go to the Department of War website and look at this. Look at all these files. I didn't know it was actually going to be like files, bro. So, there's a lot of news articles from like the 50s and 60s. And there's some really good high-def actual photographs of these saucers that were sent to the government. So all of this stuff was sent to the government. Then we have all of these people were writing the head of the FBI at the time, J. Edgar Hoover. I mean, you know the guy. And people writing him these letters being like, hey, dude, we got these flying saucers. Here, I'm going to read this one. This is a letter from a police chief in Princeton, West Virginia. He wrote it to J. Edgar Hoover. I have been police chief of Princeton for a number of years and have been a member of that department for 22 years. Sir, I mentioned this above so that you will not think an idiot is writing. You seemingly, boy, I relate to that. You seemingly do not know or utterly disregard the following subject. I had hoped that you might make a statement before now on this subject. I have waited many years to see your opinion in print, but nothing of the sort has happened. Sir, I happen to know they exist. I have personally seen 2 of them. One of those sightings under a low cloud cover in daylight. I am not sure as to the cloud height. The other at perhaps 2,000 feet altitude and approximately 1 mile off. You may not be interested, but I think this might be vital to the security of the United States. Man, I'm feeling like Mulder from the X-Files a little bit right now. Feeling like Mulder. We gotta open these X-Files. Scully, get a flashlight. Scully, get a flashlight and look at this X-File. Tune into Zick Show for more UFO files. Reading them.
Crackling with videos and photos showing all kinds of what at least look like really peculiar craft flying through the air all over the world. This release from the Pentagon just has these UFO and UAP fans buzzing.
Where's the
More than
extraterrestrials?
160 files have been released by the Pentagon, even as President Trump, who ordered the release, has continued to say he doesn't really know if there's life out there beyond Earth.
I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it.
Now, many of these newly released reports show really recent events. That's what's particularly interesting about it. For example, U.S. intelligence officials just last year traveling in helicopters reported saying in some undisclosed spot they saw these glowing orbs traveling at a very high rate of speed. Quote, they appeared to be oval-shaped, orange in color with a white or yellow center and emitting light in all directions. In 2022, there are reports of a military sensor tracking a UAP moving from north to south, and in another report, flying from west to east. In 2024, a teardrop-shaped craft and an uneven ball of white light and a diamond-shaped vessel traveling somewhere around 500 miles an hour were all reported by military observers. Older NASA missions are also included in all of this, although many were made public earlier. Among them, a bit of unusual audio between the Gemini 7 capsule in 1965 and Mission Control. Listen.
This is Houston. Say again, 7.
We have a bogey at 10 o'clock high.
You have any more information, estimated distance or size?
Looks like hundreds of little particles going by to the left out about 3 to 4 miles.
So, Apollo 12 astronaut Alan Bean reporting from space in 1969. Here's what he had to say. You can see these lights, particles of light, flashes of light, and they're just sailing off. They really haul out of here and press off out to the stars. There are just many, many pages in here about many subjects, including a lot from curious comments from citizens. There are some very obvious hoaxes, but what you don't find in here are clear answers of the government saying yes or no, there's something out there. And those are going to continue because there should be more releases coming in the future.
All right, squad, that was another TikTok compilation, man. Hey, listen, you made it this far, you a real one for real. Make sure you put that in the comments. What do y'all think? Do y'all think the government is really gonna release everything? And they said it's gonna be more stuff coming out in the coming weeks. How come they didn't release not one extraterrestrial or alien? Y'all let me know in the comments. But hey, till next time, man, self-love and positivity. Fire Squad, I got you and you know it.